All right, welcome in everyone to your deep dive
Mhm.
into the Cosmeno realm. We're going to be exploring their cuisine today.
Nice.
And this is something that I know a lot of you have been requesting because it's pretty fascinating. It's influenced by like both the Cosmeno spirit,
Right.
but also Chicago's urban spirit.
Absolutely.
So we're talking popular culture meets street food, but like with this really cool, inventive, accessible, um, kind of spin on it,
Yeah?
and some pretty wild names for these dishes, which we'll get into.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we've got articles, menus, even some firsthand accounts, like people who have actually dined in the Cosmeno
How
realm.
lucky them.
I know, right? So are you ready to kind of dig in
Even start.
and see what this is all about?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with dine dips. These are like kind of the heart and soul, I think, of Cosmeno realm cuisine.
Yeah, they're iconic.
So imagine like a warm, savory tomato base.
Okay.
And then they fold in, well, practically anything. Greens dinedip, cream mustard, dinedip, even roast peanut dinedip. It's not mixed in, it's like layered,
Interesting.
which I think is really intriguing.
That layering technique
Yeah.
is really key. I think it adds this whole other visual
Mm,
and textural
right.
element that you don't get when it's just all mixed together.
Yeah.
And the names, too. I mean, don't they just spark
Yeah,
curiosity?
Like, what exactly is in a cream mustard dinedip?
I know.
Like, what kind of mustard are we even talking?
No, so from what I've gathered, it seems like it's a mix
Hmm.
of like a robust mustard paste,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of horseradish,
Okay.
to give it some sharpness, and then get this crunchy radish bits
Oh, wow.
for texture. So it's that
That's-
contrast, right?
that's
Flavors and
right.
textures.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like a real theme in Cosmeno realm cuisine.
And no matter what dinedip you choose, it comes with that like signature
Mm-hmm.
onion topping. You know, those
Yeah, of course.
crispy fried onion stripes in like this shimmering oil.
Yes.
And then you can have it with boiled potatoes, green bananas, plantains. They even offer yams.
Wow. The options.
The options are incredible.
It speaks to their inclusivity.
Yeah.
I think. There's something for everybody. You could even add hot sauce or
Yeah.
boiled eggs or even fried catfish to your dine dip.
Fried catfish.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm officially hungry, but we got to move on. To mash dishes. These are kind of like dine dips, but with a heartier mashed potato base. And we've got mustard, mash dish, sweet peanut, mash dish.
Ooh, those sound so good.
They sound amazing.
What I find really interesting about these is that
Yeah.
they seem simple, right? Mashed potato, okay. But there's a complexity to the flavors.
Mhm.
The sweet peanut mash dish, for example, it combines the savory notes of the mashed potatoes
Okay.
with like a roasted peanut butter and a touch of honey.
That's interesting.
It's sweet, salty, incredibly satisfying.
So it's like a perfect comfort food.
Yeah.
But the mustard mash dish, I'm curious about that one. Like, what kind of mustard
Okay, that's a good one.
are we talking about?
So it's not your average like yellow mustard.
Okay.
This one incorporates a blend of mustard, wasabi, and mint.
That's-
It's unexpected, but the sharp bite of wasabi
Mm-hmm.
and the coolness of mint, I think, actually complement
That's a good point.
that like robust mustard flavor
Yeah.
really well.
So there's definitely this theme of like unexpected flavor combinations.
For sure.
But then we have all fall, which is a whole other level of
Yeah.
unique. This is a grilled and mashed dish with sweet vegetables.
Okay.
So things like sweet potatoes, plantains, pumpkin, all infused with this. Smoky onion and garlic paste.
So all fall is truly remarkable. It's traditionally served with either mustard sauce or peanut butter sauce. I know it sounds unconventional, but it actually works beautifully with
Yeah.
the sweetness of the vegetables. And what's even more surprising is all fall is also
Hold on.
served as a birthday cake.
A birthday cake made out of mashed sweet vegetables.
It's a testament to their creativity, I think,
Okay.
and their willingness to just push
Yeah.
the boundaries
Oh, yeah.
of food. It's taking something
Yeah.
traditionally savory
Yeah.
and turning it.
I mean, that is something I need to see to believe, that's for sure.
You do?
But just to clarify, to be a true all fall, it has to.
This is important. Have at least 2 different sweet vegetables.
Okay, at least 2. Got it. That is fascinating. I mean, they're like redefining what a birthday cake
Oh,
can
yeah.
be. And that seems to be a recurring theme
Right?
in Cosmeno realm cuisine, right?
Yeah, taking the familiar
Yeah.
and kind of turning it on its head.
Yeah, like turning it on its head. So we've talked about dips and mashes, which seem perfect for sharing, but
Yeah.
what about something a bit more portable? Because I'm intrigued by these fritwiches.
Ah, yes, fritwiches.
So describe those.
So imagine taking a fritter, plantain, akara, puri, beignets, potato, or even fry bread
Okay.
and turning it into a sandwich or a burger.
Okay.
And it's loaded with savory fillings.
So they're essentially using the fritter as like the bun.
It's genius.
That sounds amazing. And what kind of fillings are we?
I mean, it could be anything from smoked fish and cocktail sauce to creamy coleslaw and spicy jerk chicken. It's all about creating these.
Wow. So it's like a party in your mouth with all these different flavors and textures and with all these different types of fritters. I mean, there's definitely a fritmich out there for everybody, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of unexpected combinations, let's talk about hot witches, because these sound like a fun twist on the classic hot dog.
They are unique. So instead of your traditional frankfurter, they use meats like bratwurst, chorizo, frikandel, savapi, even fish sticks.
Fish sticks in a hot dog bun. Wow, they really are breaking all the rules. But what really caught my eye is they use like sweeter buns for their hot witches, which seems like an unusual choice.
It is. But remember, it's all about contrast, right?
Yeah.
So the sweetness of the bun adds this
That's a good point.
surprising element that balances out
Yeah.
the savory fillings.
Yeah. Okay. It all ties back to that.
Yeah.
So what about the fillings themselves? Are we talking standard ketchup and mustard here?
Not quite. They get creative with fillings as well, using things like coleslaw, caramelized onions, and even like a tangy relish made with pickled vegetables.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's like a gourmet hot dog experience, but with a
Yeah, with a Cosmeno realm twist.
Cosmeno realm twist. What about those who prefer like plant-based options? Do they have?
They do. Veggie hot witches too.
Okay.
And they're just as inventive with the vegetarian and vegan versions. Instead of meat, there's things like hash brown sticks, mozzarella sticks, or even stewed black-eyed beans.
Okay, so they've really thought of everything. I'm impressed. So far, we've seen hearty dips, mashed potato creations, innovative sandwiches, and we've barely scratched the surface. What's next on our culinary adventure?
Well, now we're getting to the sweet treats. And this is where I think we see the less is more philosophy of the Cosmeno realm really shine.
Okay.
Get ready for blank bakes.
Blank bakes.
Blank bakes, they're all about simplicity and purity.
Okay.
So pastries and fritters made with as few ingredients as possible.
So are we talking like...
And there's like a no frills policy, no fancy glazing, no elaborate fillings.
Okay, so we're talking plain donuts, buttermilk muffins, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Vanilla cookies, buttermilk cornbread. You get the idea.
Okay.
It's all about letting those core flavors shine through without any unnecessary distractions.
So this whole less is more approach, is it just like a preference? Or is there like a deeper meaning behind it?
Well, there's actually something called the Cosmeno purity law that dictates these restrictions on blank bakes.
A purity law for pastries.
It's not a legal law. More like a cultural guideline that's been passed down through generations.
So what does that tell us about their values when it comes to food?
I think it suggests a deep respect for tradition and this belief that true satisfaction comes from simplicity.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, we don't need to overcomplicate things to create something delicious and enjoyable.
It's almost like a minimalist approach to baking, right? Like stripping away all the excess to kind of reveal the essence of the ingredients.
Exactly.
I like that.
And that same philosophy extends to their beverages.
Okay.
They have Flav water, which is essentially fruit-infused water, and then Flav Fizz, which is like a spritzer or infused sparkling water.
So we're talking subtle flavors here, like cucumber water or something.
Yes, cucumber water is popular.
Okay.
But they also have more complex combinations, like strawberry peach plum water.
Interesting.
And for the Flav Fizz, they use everything from apple and iced tea to malt beer.
Hold on. Malt beer spritzer. That's intriguing.
It is. And it speaks to their willingness to experiment, even within the boundaries of simplicity.
Great.
Even have red wine spritzers, but they're very specific about the ratio. At least 3/4 water to ensure that it remains a light and refreshing drink.
So even with adult beverages, there's this emphasis on moderation.
It all ties back to that sense of balance and purity.
Okay, so we've covered savory dishes, sweet treats, and even beverages. It's clear that Cosmeno realm cuisine is full of surprises, unexpected twists.
It is.
But what does it all mean? Like, what can we learn from their approach to food?
I think it challenges us to rethink our own relationship with food, you know?
Yeah.
Do we really need all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
all the complex flavors and elaborate presentations to truly enjoy a meal?
That's a good point. Maybe there's something to be said for like simplifying our diets,
Right.
focusing on fresh ingredients, appreciating the inherent flavors of food.
Exactly. And maybe it's not just about the food itself,
Right.
but the experience surrounding it. In the Cosmeno realm, sharing a meal is a communal activity, a way to connect with others, to celebrate their heritage.
So it's not just about what's on the plate,
Right.
but like the social and cultural significance behind it.
Precisely. Think about those Dinedips, for example.
Why?
The act of gathering around a table, dipping your potatoes or plantains
Yeah.
into that shared bowl, customizing it to your liking.
Yeah.
It creates a sense of togetherness and shared experience.
It's like a culinary conversation where everyone contributes their own unique
I love
flavor to the mix. And that sense of community extends to other dishes as well, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine a family coming together to make offal for a birthday
Yeah.
celebration.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about eating the cake. It's about the process of creating it together, sharing stories, strengthening bonds.
Absolutely.
It sounds like food plays like a vital role
Yeah.
in their social fabric,
Yeah.
creating connections, fostering a sense of belonging.
And the Cosmeno purity law is another example of how food connects them to their past.
Okay.
By adhering to these traditional guidelines for blank bakes and beverages,
Yeah.
they're honoring their heritage, passing those traditions
Yeah.
on to future generations.
It's like each dish is like a time capsule, carrying with it the stories and values of their community. It's fascinating how food can act as a bridge between the past, present, and future.
I know, right?
But there's one thing we haven't really touched on yet.
What's that? And that's the visual aspect.
Oh, yeah. So their cuisine.
The aesthetics of food
Yeah.
are very important in the Cosmeno realm.
So we've talked about how they layer ingredients in the Dinedips and use like vibrant colors in their dishes. But what about the presentation? Is it minimalist to match?
Actually, quite the opposite. Really?
Yes. It's surprising.
While they emphasize purity and simplicity in flavors, they embrace vibrant colors and artful arrangements when it comes to presenting their food.
So it's like a visual feast that complements the simple yet satisfying flavors, and it ties back.
And it ties back to their roots in Chicago's urban spirit, finding beauty and expression in everyday life.
And that attention to detail, to creating something visually appealing, even with simple ingredients. I mean, that speaks volumes about their respect for food and the dining experience.
Precisely. It's about engaging all the senses and making each meal a truly memorable experience.
This whole concept of visual presentation in Cosmeno realm cuisine is making me think, are there specific colors or patterns that they use? Do certain colors have symbolic meanings?
That's a great question, and one we'll delve into right after this.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Cosmeno realm and their cuisine. So before we took a break, we were...
Yes, we were talking about the visual presentation of the food.
Yeah, that unexpected emphasis.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? How they balance simplicity and flavors, but then with the vibrant and artful presentation.
It's like they're blending practicality with aesthetics.
It speaks to their cultural roots, for sure.
Right, right. So you mentioned they use bright colors, arrangements. Are there any like specific colors?
Absolutely. Or patterns that hold like a special significance.
In Cosmeno realm cuisine?
Yes. The colors often reflect the ingredients themselves.
Yes.
And they actually carry symbolic meanings.
Okay.
So, for example, green is very prominent, which represents all the fresh herbs and vegetables that are staples in their dishes.
Which makes sense, given their emphasis on fresh ingredients and simple preparation.
It symbolizes vitality, growth,
Yeah.
and connection to nature.
Okay, so green, what about other colors?
Well, red is another important one. You know, think of the rich tomato base
Uh,
of the Dinedips, or the vibrant red chili peppers
yeah.
often used in their sauces.
So red symbolizes.
Red symbolizes passion, energy, and community.
So I'm seeing a theme here. They're not just using colors randomly. Like,
No, they're intentionally like...
they're weaving meaning into their...
Exactly. Culinary creations.
Culinary creations.
And it goes beyond just individual colors, too.
Okay.
They also incorporate patterns and arrangements that hold cultural significance.
Like what?
So, for instance, circular arrangements are very common, symbolizing unity, harmony, and the cyclical nature of life.
So even the way they arrange the food on a plate is telling a story.
It's like a visual language.
Yeah.
That adds another layer of depth.
Yeah, it's fascinating to their cuisine.
And this attention to detail,
Yeah.
you know, this desire to create something visually appealing, even with simple ingredients. Speaks volumes about their respect for food. And
Absolutely. The whole dining experience.
Sure.
It's all starting to come together now. This fusion of practicality, creativity, respect for tradition, and that like vibrant urban spirit. It's what makes Cosmeno realm cuisine.
Right. So unique.
So unique and captivating.
I think what's most compelling is that it challenges us to look beyond that purely functional aspect of food.
Right.
And to appreciate its potential for artistic expression, cultural preservation, and social connection.
It's a reminder that food is more than just sustenance. It's a powerful tool for storytelling, for bringing people together.
Absolutely. And for celebrating.
And for celebrating the beauty of like everyday life.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Cosmeno realm, what's like the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will remember?
Well, I think it's the idea that simplicity doesn't have to be boring. The Cosmeno realm shows us that by focusing on fresh ingredients, mindful preparations, creative presentation. Even the simplest dishes can be so flavorful, visually stunning, and deeply meaningful.
It's about stripping away the excess and rediscovering the joy of pure flavors and shared experiences.
Exactly.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you sit down for a meal, take a moment to really appreciate the colors, the textures, the aromas. Think about the journey those ingredients took to get to your plate and the hands that prepared them. And most importantly, savor the experience of sharing that meal with others.
Perhaps there's a little bit of the Cosmeno realm spirit within all of us, just waiting to be discovered.